Well, I'm all dressed and ready to go. Black water rafting. Now, this is a really eerie get-wet sport, where when they say black, they mean black. You see, with just an inner tube and a wetsuit and a miner's hard hat, you float through these pitch-dark, water-filled caves where there's hungry eels and flying bats and all kinds of jagged rocks. There's just one problem. See, I'm all dressed and ready to go, and this trip is taking off 8,000 miles south of here in New Zealand. But I have to be honest, I think I'm willing to pass on this one anyway. See, I'm afraid of the dark, not to mention eels and bats.
For many of us, it's our worst nightmare. Imagine being in total darkness, immersed in deep black water, with hungry eels lurking just beneath the surface. Bats and spiders could be hiding behind the sharp stalactites you reach around. A nightmare for you and me, perhaps. But in New Zealand, this is how they take a vacation.
To experience the ultimate daredevil thrill down under, you truly go down under, into the subterranean rivers and caves that snake their way beneath the surface.
It's called black water rafting, and this group is preparing to experience the eerie thrills of this new adventure sport.
Now, halfway through the cave, we'll be standing at the top of this waterfall, and one by one, you'll get to the edge. You put the tube around the middle like this, and you jump off.
Newton Davis will guide this expedition into the underground of New Zealand's North Island. The Ruakuri Cave will be full of obstacles for this group of rookies, not the least of which is the potentially dangerous waterfall they'll have to jump from near the end of their journey. This group of Swiss and Germans have heard about these bizarre Kiwi cave adventures, and they admit they wonder about what awaits down under. Are you nervous at all?
Yes, I am.
What are you nervous about?
Well, because I don't know what happens there. Is it too dark? Is it or dangerous?
The group anxiously makes its way through the cave entrance. It's the last daylight they'll see for hours. They carry nothing but their miner's hard hats, inner tubes, and most importantly, their wetsuits to give them some protection from the 50-degree ice water they're about to enter.
Do you know what hypothermia is? Do you know what that is? It's when your body temperature drops really fast and you start to get the shivers and you can't control. It's something you can die from.
If that's not encouraging enough, their guide warns them to watch the sharp cave rocks, because if they don't,
you're going to brush your hands on the wall there and you maybe cut yourself up pretty bad. And if you do bleed, you keep whatever's bleeding out of the water. We do have eels in the cave, and they've had a hard winter. So if there's anything bleeding in the cave, you know what I mean? You get a big school of eels coming up to the surface anyway.
He may be exaggerating somewhat, but nevertheless, the eels are in the water, and they do bite. And with those encouraging words, it's off into the dark unknown. It's not long before the first eel is spotted. Unfortunately, the only way out is to wade carefully past his underwater home and hope that he's neighborly. The group survives its first big scare and is now nearly 250 feet below the surface. This cave is 200,000 years old. It's never seen the light of day, and with passages leading in all directions, members of our group may never see daylight again if they wander off. Guide Newton Davis will be keeping an especially close eye on them now. The jump they prepared for is just ahead.
Waterfall, it's just down the main stream here.
He warns them that jumping into the wrong spot could slam them against sharp rocks. So he decides to be the first one to test the tricky currents. Most of the group decides to take the easier route and jump from a lower waterfall. From here, it's all smooth sailing. Another group of rookies has mastered one of the world's strangest rafting trips. The proverbial light at the end of the tunnel means you've overcome the nightmare of all those things that are supposed to scare you.
You made it.
Yeah, it's a good feeling. It was not too rough, it was very good. I felt like an explorer.
Just another thrill seeker who, for at least a few hours, visited nature in its deepest and darkest secret hiding places. Don't go away. More Get Wet coming up right after this.